Morbid Facts, Part 50. Sonny Graham was dying of heart failure when he got the call about a new heart. The donor was 33-year-old Terry Cottle, who had just committed suicide by shooting himself in the throat with a shotgun. After a successful transplant, Sonny started writing to Terry's widow Cheryl. The two ended up falling in love and getting married. Soon, people started to notice that Sonny was taking on some of Terry's personality and characteristics. He started liking things that he never enjoyed before, like beer and hot dogs, which were some of Terry's favorites. 12 years later, Sonny committed suicide the exact same way as Terry, with a shotgun to the throat.
Crazy hotel rooms you won't believe exist. The Hang Na Guest House in Vietnam. It's a tree house that was inspired by Alice in Wonderland. For just $2, you can visit the grounds, and a room costs $30 a night. Would you stay here? Share with your travel buddy.
Morbid Facts, Part 6. Young filmmaker Lee Halpin was filming a documentary about the hardships of being homeless by living as one. But he was found dead in the streets only 3 days into filming. The nuclear blast in Hiroshima was so powerful that some people were vaporized instantly, leaving only shadow imprints of their final moments. In the 1970s, a man who committed suicide by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge left a suicide note saying, "I'm going to walk to the bridge. If just one person smiles at me along the way, I won't jump."
Part 2 of Abandoned Toys R Us. I went to go back and see if things moved, but then I saw the lights in the back door on. Then I saw this red thing on the door and on the floor. And then I saw that thing cover in something.
Morbid Facts, Part 2. This photo shows the dramatic differences between two boys who were exposed to the same smallpox source in 1901. One of them was vaccinated, the other one was not. These punishing shoes were a type of medieval torture device. The victim would have to stand on their tippy toes for as long as they could before falling back and having rusty spikes jammed into their heel. Artist William Udermolen was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 1995. Over the next 5 years, he drew these self-portraits of himself which displayed the devastating effects of the disease.
Stop scrolling right now if you want to see something spooky. So the other day I was in Sugarland, Texas. This is a town that was founded on sugar. They closed the sugar mill a while ago and it sits abandoned in the middle of town, and let me tell you, the way that they got this sugar was terrifying. Right here, this is the entrance to the abandoned Central Unit Prison, the largest abandoned prison in all of Texas. I couldn't get as close as I wanted to get. This place is supposed to be haunted, so people break in all the time, but I drove through a residential neighborhood to go across the field so that I could get a clear shot of the prison. Here it is. It's much bigger in person, but this is from like a long distance away. This place is rumored to be extremely haunted. It was nicknamed the Hellhole in the Brazos because inmate conditions were so bad, people were basically tortured here. And the prison used convict leasing, where African-American individuals were arrested for basically nothing and then provided free labor for the sugar mill in town. It was basically a new form of slavery. A few years ago, they discovered 98 bodies of convict lease victims in Sugarland, and I'm going to that cemetery next.
Morbid Facts, Part 16. A Texas farmer found this astronaut helmet in his field following the Columbia disaster that killed 7 space shuttle crew members in 2003. Along with pieces of the shuttle and equipment, searchers in the debris field also found human body parts, including arms, feet, a torso, and a heart. This 3-person coffin was made for a Colorado couple whose baby died in the 1930s. Stricken by grief, they planned on committing suicide and being buried together in a single coffin. The coffin went unused when they thankfully decided not to go through with it. Today it can be seen in the National Museum of Funeral History. Apparently that's a real museum in Texas.
Explain this photo. It's from 1943 Hungary. Notice anything strange? Here's a closer look. Well, what do you think it is?
Morbid Facts, Part 36. King Tut was a product of incest as his parents were brother and sister. He had a club foot, a severe overbite, womanly hips, and enlarged breasts. Most experts agree that he probably died as a result of these deformities. The human head can remain conscious and aware for up to 20 seconds after being decapitated. A student was once taking an exam and couldn't handle the stress and anxiety anymore. So he put 2 pencils up his nostrils and headbutted the desk, forcing the pencils through his brain. He died instantly and all the other students got automatic A's.
The Craziest Execution Methods, Part 4. Molten gold. Practiced around the world for hundreds of years, notably by the Romans. This one was very simple. You would first be restrained, your mouth forced open, and melted gold would be poured down your throat. This resulted in multiple organ failure, blistering of the lungs, and asphyxiation. Fuck that.
Morbid Facts, Part 99. A few days before he was assassinated, President Lincoln told several people about a dream he had. In the dream, Lincoln saw a soldier standing beside a casket, and he could also hear people weeping. Still dreaming, Lincoln asked the soldier, "Who's dead in the White House?" The soldier turned to him slowly and replied, "The president." In the late 1980s, a woman went on a vacation getaway where singles could meet other singles. She quickly thought she had met the man of her dreams and decided to sleep with him that night. When she woke up in the hotel room the next morning, the man was gone and there was a small wooden coffin on the table next to her. Inside was a note that read, "You are now HIV positive. Welcome to the world of AIDS." Here are some morbid facts that you didn't know about the bombing of Hiroshima. Many people who witnessed the nuclear blast firsthand were blinded instantly. Some were even left with permanent atomic bomb cataracts like this one. When the bomb was dropped, the blast was so powerful that it permanently burned the shadows of objects and people into the ground. Some Hiroshima survivors eventually grew black fingernails like this one. These fingernails contained active blood vessels and bled profusively when they broke off. If you're a certain distance from a nuclear explosion, you won't die immediately. Instead, you'll get third-degree burns all over your body and your nerves will be killed so fast that you'll barely even feel it. This happened to a lot of people in Hiroshima, and when rescuers would grab their arms to help them, their skin would slide off just like a glove.
Welcome to Serial Killer Dream Homes. Today we have this beautiful 2-bedroom house. Everything in the home is newly updated. Big old spacious room for you. But if you make your way into the kitchen, you can see there's a little hidden door. Surprise, bitch, it's the whole prison!
If you're the little girl that's living in this house, can you turn one of the flashlights on? Holy crap. It didn't, and it's off again.
Oh my god. What is happening?
I'd like to introduce you to my friend. His name is Nikolai. He's a good little devil.
So what's up with the Denver airport? It's the second biggest airport in the world despite being ranked 20th in air traffic. It was way behind schedule during construction and the final cost was $2 billion over the original budget. So what did they spend all that extra time and money on? Allegedly, some of the construction workers said they built 5 multi-story buildings underneath the airport as well as an elaborate tunnel system. So why did they build them? Well, there are 3 popular theories. 1, they're the headquarters of the New World Order. 2, they are FEMA concentration camps waiting to be used. And 3, they are doomsday bunkers for the global elite. In 2011, a potential doomsday-sized comet named Elenine was supposed to hit the Earth, and on that day, President Obama just happened to be in Denver. There is also a capstone in the airport that displays a Masonic symbol and gives thanks to the New World Airport Commission for building the airport. There are many murals covering the airport which some believe depict the New World Order taking over after a doomsday event. Not to mention a giant blue horse statue named Lucifer, which many people believe represents the fourth horseman of the apocalypse. Even the Denver airport seems to play into these conspiracies.
The expressionless, an urban legend that gained traction on creepypasta. And this is how it goes. In 1972, a woman appears in a Los Angeles hospital wearing nothing but a white dress covered in blood. But this wasn't an ordinary woman. She had the fluidity of a human but the face of a mannequin. And for some reason, there was a kitten clamped between her teeth, spewing blood down the front of her. She took the kitten out of her mouth, threw it on the floor, and collapsed. She was taken into a back room to be sedated and seemed extremely calm until it was time to sedate her. That's when she lashed out, and 2 nurses had to hold her down. She then turned to the doctor and smiled, showing her razor-sharp teeth. The doctor, in shock, asked, "What are you?" She signaled him down to her as if to whisper in his ear, and then latched onto his neck and ripped out his jugular with her teeth. And while he lay on the floor suffering, she leans over top of him and says, "I am God." She has never been seen since then, but supposedly one of the nurses that survived the incident called her